Hi friends, welcome to the coding challenge. So today's challenge is you need to code stack using array like the primitive data type. So as we know that stack is first in last out or last in first out. You need to do this thing on your own by using the primitive array, right? So let's code it. This is the example which we have covered in the last challenge where we used the array list, and array list has provided a lot of methods inbuilt and we coded that. So you have been given 10 minutes to do this. Pause the video and struggle with it, implement it. Otherwise, come back and then let's continue to the solution. So as we know, there are methods like push, pop, search, and isEmpty, which we are going to implement here. So first thing is we'll do like test driven thing. So first thing is we would try to push the data. Push means we will add the data and data would go all here like in the array, right? The 0th element. So for that we need to have an array. So I'm trying to make it as an integer, and then we would say this is stack array, and then we would have an integer which would be the index or the pointer, whatever you feel like. Let's call it as pointer. Pointer actually might confuse to C guys or someone, but not us. We are Java guys, right? So now we do public, and then we would have the constructor, and the main task of constructor is to initialize the list. So not making it too complicated, we will take 10 integers for now, and then we'll continue. So we have the length of 10. So what would happen is as soon as we add the first data, the pointer would start pointing to the 0th element. So in our stack 0, 1, 2, 3 data would go like that, and when we pop, the element at the top would get popped out, like the element at the top would get popped out. So let's implement and then we'll test it. So our method would look like our method would look like push, right? So push, we would say push, and then you have to pass the element, and then first thing is we would check if we are not index array of bound, we are not trying to add something which is more than the length. So which would let us do this if this is more than the length, rather more than or equal to the length, then it would return false. If everything is good, like if it's in this case, then it would return 2. So the actual logic is here that we would have a pointer, and then we would add the value in the pointer, whatever is the element. So initially the pointer is -1, so array is empty. So what we need to do first time, as soon as we add the data, we would increment the pointer by 1, right? And then as soon as we remove the data, we have to decrement it as well, and then we'll implement the search. So first test push, again 7th is my birthday, so let's try to do this, and then we would say assert. So if we are able to add 7, this should go fine, and it went fine. So we would add another data which would be 4. So first in is supposed to be last out, and last in should be first out. So fourth should get last out, right? Something like that. Now as soon as you added data, you can have a simple implementation of is empty, empty, and no parameters, no arguments required. You can just say if pointer is greater than, actually if pointer is less than 0, then it is empty. You can test here for the first time. So you have assert is empty, and if everything is good, this should be passing the test. Cool. So now we have to implement the pop. So pop is what? Pop will give you the element. So we would get the element back from pop. So pop would do what? Is it would go to the index, whatever is the current index, and then it would get the value, index or the pointer of from the top of the array. And then once you get that value, you can say int value. Then you need to make the pointer minus minus, so you're decrementing the pointer, and then you can return the value. So you would say return the value. You can always have the logic here that if it's less than like the way you have here, that if it's empty then you cannot pop anything. So if it's not empty, then only you can pop it. So you can have further validations, but for now let's assert this, that we are trying to pop. So just for fun, let's do this 7. So if you're trying to pop 7, then the test should fail actually. So what do you have here? No, you don't need the, sorry guys, you don't need any parameter. So first value is supposed to be 7 because we inserted it first, right? So I am negating myself. So this test case should actually fail, or we should say it's something like should not be the first value what we inserted. Now it should pass. So the first value is supposed to be the last value which got inserted here. So now we would do 4. So we would pop out, when we pop out, we'll get 4. There is something seriously wrong going in here. So this is the first value, this is the second value. Actually, yeah. So 4 got popped out before. So now you cannot find 4. So which is true. So let's do it this way, that the first value which would get popped out should be 4. Second value should be 7. And then your array should be empty. And when you call this, this should not be empty, right? So let's run this and everything would work fine. See, oh, so there is some issue going on. What is it? So yeah, array is not empty here. Let's check what's going on here. So we have got some values, and what array is trying empty if pointer is less than 0. True. So pointer is supposed to be more than that. Let's try to debug it there. So first time, that's fine. Let it go. Now pointer is minus. So the problem is if you have to do SA, because object oriented language, right? So when you are directly calling it, it was giving -1 and the value was not getting satisfied. Since you're instantiating the object and you're adding the values in that object, so you need to do like the object reference dot is empty. So now everything should work fine, because this guy, you pushed some data, then it's not empty, then you popped out the data, and now it is empty. So we'll implement our last thing, which is like really important, is the search. So if you are trying to pass an element, you need to know if that element exists in this or not. So what I would do is I would use a enhanced for loop, wherein we will say item int, no, it's int item in array if your item is equal to the element you would return true. If your loops get all over and you're not able to find the element, then you would say return false. So we would test it real quick. So we have added the element. Now we would say assert sa dot search, and you should be able to find 7, but you should not be able to find 6. So you should negate it. Like true's opposite is false, so that's what we are trying to do. Let's see what test fails. Yep, and everything passed. So we implemented within 10 minutes the stack by using the array. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and if you like this video, please like it. Thanks.